Alright, welcome everybody to a new YouTube channel here, Past Prime Gaming. This is a channel for those of us who are no longer so young, but young at heart still. And it's about games that I like to play. And so, to start it off, I'm going to feature a new game that's come out recently in early access. It's called Terraformers. The Red Planet Awaits. It's a game all about colonizing Mars, and I think it's pretty fantastic. So to start off with here, we'll go ahead and we'll go through a tutorial run. And I am going to turn down the music just a bit, because it does seem like it's pretty loud. Anyways, yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll do a tutorial run through here, so I can see what this game is about. Alright. So, welcome to the Mars colonization project, right? A small step for the first colonists, but a giant leap for mankind. The shuttle has landed, and your people are ready to settle on the Red Planet. Everyone on the ship is aware of the historic importance of the mission, and the great responsibility resting upon their shoulders. Their lives will be spent beneath the domes of artificial habitats, but they are not here for themselves. They are here for the future of the human race. It will be a long time before a human can breathe Martian air, but everyone is willing to work tirelessly to make that day arrive. Earth has sent resources to start the settlement and proposes some leaders to represent you on Mars. Good luck. Okay, so we get our basic start option here. We get 50 power, 29 food, 10 water, and 5 titanium to start. And, okay, so Mars is the new frontier, offers many opportunities to those seeking a new life. Our goal is to create a self-sustaining colony that provides pleasant conditions for a human population and may one day even become independent. To achieve this, you will have to explore, construct buildings, mine resources, expand your cities, and finally, terraform the planet itself to support life. When this bar is full, victory is achieved. So, on this basic scenario, it's all about getting points. When you do stuff that improves Mars, you get points. You get to 300 points, you win. And different ways to get points. You get points for having support, income. You get points for each resource that you're collecting. If you get a set of resources, so like you're collecting one each of water, nitrates, silicates, titanium, and tritanium. If you get one of each of those, you get a bonus in points. You get points for every trade route that you have. You get additional points from trade routes that you get from mines when you set up a spaceport next to one. And then you also get points for having additional project suggestions and researches available to you, and for how much you terraform. So those are all things which give you scenario points. So some combination of those that adds up to 300 will be victory here. Alright, so while developing our colony, we have to pay attention to this support over here. If this number reaches 0, the Mars colonization project will be deemed a failure, and the game will be over. Keep your people support by constructing buildings that provide support, by growing more population, and reaching certain terraforming milestones. Every few years, the expectations of the colonists will rise, and we'll need to keep them satisfied for this mission to be a success. So basically, as we go on in turns, each turn represents a year. As we go on in turns, then eventually the amount of support we need every turn goes up. And it's not by a set amount. There's not like a reliable schedule for it. It depends somewhat on a random factor, and also how lucky you've been so far. So if you get a lot of like negative, if you get a lot of negative events, that number can go up slower. If you get a lot of positive events, that number can go up faster. This is according to the developers. They haven't released any kind of algorithm or anything to say exactly how it decides that. So it's a little bit of a black box. But in general, just know that as time goes up, the demands go up. Okay. So, choosing a leader. Alright, so we got 2 to pick from here. We've got Tariq Fayed, who is... I like that they each have, like, history, you know. So, Tariq Fayed, he was a military guy, it looks like, and he's all about security. So, yeah. So, every leader will have 3 abilities that you can pick from each turn. So you can do one of these things each turn. You can either explore, and when you explore, it costs you energy depending on how far the spot away is that you explore from your city. And then there are 2 special actions that are specific to a leader. Every leader will be able to explore. Tariq can make a city produce twice for a turn, and he can also construct a police station, which improves comfort of living. And then, in addition, each leader also has a specialization, which sticks around after they leave. This is a bonus that you get for the whole game. For Tariq, his is that you get additional water. So for every 3 water you produce, you'll get 1 bonus, which is a pretty nice bonus. Your other option here is Elena Kertetz, who is an artist, and her 2 actions are you can spend 4 water and gain 50 support, or we can construct a local art gallery. The art gallery is a building you'd build in your city, and for every location out on the map, such as like scenic views or tourist spots that you have, it will give you additional support. Okay. And her specialization is if you get 800 or more total support, you get to get 1 extra project suggestion and 1 extra project research per turn. So that's really good if you can get up to 800. I think for this scenario, this tutorial, we're going to go with Tariq for that water boost. Because I don't know if we're going to get up to 800 before we get to 300 points. I'm not sure. But I know that the water boost is always helpful. Man, nice to meet you. I'm Tariq Fayed. Let's get to work. Increasing our population would help us get some initial support. Population requires food. Yes, it does. Food is cabbages. Everyone needs cabbages here. Earth has kindly provided us with the essential projects to produce food. That's our greenhouse farm. And to grow our population, which is the habitation module. As you can see, this produces 1 food turn, costs 10 water. This produces 1 population and costs 30 food. Both of these are built in a city. And as you can see, we have 10 water already. We don't have the food yet. Okay, so let's visit our city where we can construct our greenhouse farm. All right, so let's do that. Our city of New Bamako here. Okay. So, it's our first Martian city. We can construct buildings here. That's anything that has the icon where it says must be built in a city there. Will be built here. Okay, so a city can, by default, build 5 buildings. Each building is built on one of these circles, and they're connected by lines which indicate adjacencies. So yeah, so that will be important soon. Alright, and then here we go. So also on this screen here, we see the population of the city. It's currently 1, because the headquarters does have 1 population. You can see here, there's 1 smiley there, which means that this housing unit is giving us 1 support per turn. And up here, we've got building and location count. That is the number of spaces outside of the city proper where we can build things. And building and location count is 1 out of 5. You start out being able to build 5 for every additional population or robot. This number goes up. This here is our support return for this city. Currently it's at 1. You can see that right there. This is our comfort of living. So comfort of living is like a kind of force multiplier for population turning into support. For every comfort of living, every population gives an additional support. So this will be very key for giving us a large amount of support when we can get a large population. And then we got our radiation protection. Mars, having a very thin atmosphere, does not give as much protection from radiation as Earth does, so that is an issue for people. So being in a crater, we do get 2 protection from being in a crater. The atmosphere right now is giving us 0. There are 3 different types of cities that you can build in terraformers right now. There are flat plain cities, which have no radiation protection inherently. There are crater cities, which give you 2. And then there are also lava tube cities, which give you 5 by default radiation protection because they are underground. The downside of lava tube cities is they're usually full of these rocks, which you have to pay energy to remove. Alright, moving on, we got the temperature here. The temperature contributes to the comfort of living. So as we terraform and the temperature of the region goes up, then it's more comfortable to live there. Similarly, the oxygen level. So that is the amount of breathable oxygen in the air. This number also will contribute to comfort of living once it becomes positive. If it's negative, it doesn't give you a penalty, but once it becomes positive, oxygen will give you a bonus there. And then there is rain. Rainfall contributes to being able to have certain plants and animals in that zone, and will also influence whether or not certain locations are flooded on the map. There's a button to relocate the city if you need to. That can be useful sometimes if they're on a floodplain and you're about to terraform to flood that location. You can move the city. Alright, so, and then there's the specialization here. So these are all these spots out here that we can explore. Those are where these hexagons come in. But for now, let's go ahead and place the greenhouse. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to place it somewhere where we'll be able to get some adjacency bonuses for it. So I'm going to go ahead and place it right here for now. And that cost us our 10 water. Alright. Alright, so now we've got these 4 locations here. We can go ahead and explore one. On the map, if they've got a large thing like that, that means that there's a deposit there that we'll be able to mine. If they are smaller, that just means that we'll find some there when we explore it, but it is not there for mining. And we're going to go after the titanium deposit, because that is going to be very key for helping us to build. We get some of each of the resources that were listed there. Because there's a large deposit, we get a bunch of titanium. And then also you can see on the map, there's the titanium deposit. Once we have an additional population, we can build a mine there. So yeah, so we'll have to wait 1 turn to get the 30 food required to build that hab module. So go ahead and end the first turn. And each turn, they give you a choice of different projects. And in this case, I'm going to go and pick the thermal generator. The reason I'm going to pick that is because we do have a couple of mining locations for the tritium nearby. So we'll be able to build that fairly quickly, and it will contribute to our power generation, which is very important. They've updated so that we can use the other 2 actions if we'd like. We're going to still focus on exploring now. So yeah, let's go ahead and explore here. As you can see, the cost to explore is based on the distance from your city. So these nearby ones only cost 1. Explore there. And we're only 1 short of being able to build that generator. So we should be able to build it next turn. Let's go ahead and build our... We'll build our hab unit here. And this is another case where we're going to try to take advantage of adjacencies. So I'm going to put that there. And then, yes, we're going to go ahead and pay 3 power to remove this. And we'll be placing the power generation facilities over here. So as you can see, that bumped our support up 1, so we get some points for that. We also got we have some points because we are mining, or we're not mining, we're farming 1 food a turn. Each resource that you farm or mine or generate is worth 3 points. On that note, you can see here we've got 1 available location to expand to, and we're going to go ahead and expand to the titanium deposit. It costs titanium and power to build mines. That is one of the reasons why finding that titanium deposit is so important. So yeah, we will select that, select the titanium deposit, and we'll build the mine. And now, as you can see, we're up to 6 points from resource income. And we get 1 new titanium per turn. That's all very good, and that is really all we can do for turn 2 here. So we'll go ahead and move on. Alright, so for this turn, we're presented with another HAB module, another greenhouse farm, or another thermal generator. I'm going to delay that decision for a moment. And we'll see what we can come up with when we explore. Now I know that this is going to be another tritium mine in addition to this. This is going to be a silicon mine. This is going to be some kind of place with some bonus to power generation, like a geothermal deposit or something. This will be something that has a bonus to... it's a place where we can develop science. Anytime you see a smiley face, that is going to be either... it's going to be either a new possible city location, or it's going to be some sort of like tourist destination or place that can develop some kind of happiness bonus for you. In this case, we're going to explore again, and I want an additional tritium so I can build. But I'm not going to go here because that costs 2. I'm going to go here because that's just 1. That's some rocky plains. And here is just blank. So that is a location where it's good to build. There are a number of different buildings that are good to build on these blank locations. Needless to say, I'm not sorry to see that there's not a mine or a special location here. This is still a very useful spot. All spots are useful. It's just really you build once you need where you need. But that does give us enough tritium to build a generator, which we will do here. You can see here that it has these arrows. If you build this next to a building that houses population, then it loses you support per turn. But building it here is just fine. It doesn't have any negative effects here, and it does give us that 1 power per turn. And that is pretty much all we can do. We can research a new project, however. So looking at this, I am not seeing a lot of water. There are a couple of small water locations. It looks more likely that we would be building another tritium generator out of these, because we'll probably find some food in exploring, but I'm going to go ahead and get the tritium generator card, because we'll probably be able to actually build that soon. And now we get a trade route. Okay, we'll delay this decision again for a moment so we can explain trade routes. So with a trade route, you can send something to Earth and get something in return. The other thing that you can do with trade routes is if you have a space project, you can send resources to the space project to build the project. So that is the other thing that you can do with those resources. No, my game is hanging up a little bit here. stopped responding for a moment. Possibly related to me recording this at the same time. Again, this is early access, so there are some bugs. I have not really run across any that are super terribly game breaking. In this particular case, it might just be that I need to restart the game. But we're at actually probably about time-wise what I would want for our first video anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And then we'll go ahead and resume that with our next video. So until next time, thank you very much for watching Past Prime Gaming, and give a like or subscribe if you want to see more of this game. Thank you.